Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
I'm your other host Dan, and we are your weekly video game news podcast here on chipbit.net. We're going to talk about video game news, as we always do every week.
Oh, every week. Fridays, 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Lots of video game news. All the stuff that's fit to print/talk about, because we're not a print publication.
That is correct.
We would make articles if we weren't so lazy.
That is correct.
We can be found on all sorts of social media, including... actually,
spoiler.
you know what? I was going to say, hey, we can be found on all sorts of social media. Find us under DCTF Podcast, or just Don't Copy That Floppy.
Follow the breadcrumbs. Yeah, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, all that stuff.
Yeah.
We got show archives up various places.
Mm-hmm.
Chipbit.net, iTunes, YouTube. And we're on, we do Twitch streams, and on YouTube you can also watch our old Twitch streams as we upload them. I streamed Overwatch on Wednesday, and I need to upload that video, but I will. Everyone can watch me be bad at it.
Yes. I watched it. I watched it live.
Oh my god. You got to see me be bad at Overwatch, except for that one time when I was playing as Reaper, and I did really good.
With those candlestick guns.
Oh yeah, man. Gotta get them.
But what kind of news have we got this week?
Well, we have a little bit of Overwatch news, just a teeny taste. We have a ton of news from PlayStation Experience, because that happened this past weekend. So Sony-related announcements of all kinds.
Some sweet trailers.
Some really sweet trailers. We got some news about Nintendo, things about the Switch, things about their new mobile game. Also, Jimmy Fallon got to experience those things.
Oh, yes, he did.
A little thing about Pokemon Go. More of the Ubisoft drama we've been discussing with Vivendi's potential hostile takeover of Ubisoft.
Yeah, quick update to that.
Things aren't looking good. Is the gist of it. Some news out of Asia, both China and South Korea, gaming-related news.
Oh, yeah.
Also, both kind of stories related to esports, in a way. A little bit about Doom, a little bit about Indivisible, the RPG in the works from the makers of Skullgirls. And then we'll round up with games that just came out and games that are coming out in the next week or so. So yeah, we'll start with, since I just talked about Overwatch, the Overwatch holiday event is starting on December 13th.
Get amped.
I'm really excited. I got 3,000 schmeckles saved up, so even at the end of it, if I haven't gotten a costume I wanted, I got all the money I need to get it.
You know May's gonna have a good costume.
May is gonna get a great costume. I'm convinced of it, and since she's my main, I'm gonna have to get it.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's terrible for some reason, but I doubt that'll happen.
Has that ever happened?
No, I suppose not. I mean, no, there's like Cybergoth Zarya and stuff. But none of the holiday skins, like event skins, have been bad. But there's some existing ones that are pretty oof. Blizzard tweeted out a little tweet that just said, "It's the most wonderful time of the year, and we hope you'll join us for some holiday cheer. December 16th, Overwatch, retweet to RSVP," and they put a little gif of the King's Row map with a bunch of lights and snow and wreaths all over it.
Oh, that looks nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's got like a... I can't believe I can't remember what it's called. The Scrooge story.
Christmas Carol.
Christmas Carol, that's the one. Boy in the street, what day is it?
Why, sir, it's Christmas Day.
I want Reinhardt to get a voice line of, "You, boy in the street, what day is it?" And then Lucio has, "It's Christmas, sir."
There's still time. Here, boy,
Push the payload, boy. Santa's presents need to get to the world. I really hope there is a Christmas payload, like, event match type that involves pushing Santa's sleigh.
There's gotta be.
There has to be. You have to get all the presents to all the good little girls and boys. Oh. So I'm excited for that. This is cool because when they did... Halloween, they did not make any announcement of it ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
There were little leaks about it, but it wasn't until it actually went up that everybody knew everything. So the cool thing here is that they've actually told us ahead of time, hey, get ready. Look forward to it. So I'm primed and good to go. It's going to be great. So let's get from that to the meat of our stories, which is a lot of PlayStation Experience stuff. We got a little list here that I will zoom in on.
which is from the PlayStation blog.
PlayStation blog. Where else would you find PlayStation news? This is probably your best bet. So, I mean, we should probably just go down the list, and then we can single out stuff we really want to talk about.
I mean, the first one is, I think, the one that everybody's been hearing about.
Yeah. Last of Us 2 is happening.
They had a cinematic trailer.
They did. There's already tons of fan speculation that Joel's dead or something.
Oh my god, he's just in our minds.
Yeah, there's a bunch of fan speculation already.
See, I don't know if they'll do that just because that writing trope at this point is so tired.
It's very played out. And considering that Last of Us had very good writing.
Yeah, Naughty Dog actually, the first Last of Us game, they wrote that really well.
I mean, Naughty Dog has solid writing in general.
Yeah.
So, hopefully they will avoid that.
But man, that trailer was so good. I mean, it was really just good. A cinematic trailer.
But it's still a tone setter for what they're going for. It's funny because I guess Last of Us did really, really well, so I shouldn't be surprised that there's a sequel, but it really felt like a game that didn't need one.
No, it definitely didn't need one. But that's not how AAA titles work.
I know, but it's just it's a shame. Because the game's story, it has a semi-ambiguous ending, but it does wrap up fairly nicely. You get a bow on it at the end.
Yeah.
So we'll see how they do it. I just hope they don't ruin it. Uncharted 4, Lost Legacy announced for PS4.
I mean, that's just their effort to milk more out of the Uncharted franchise.
So Uncharted 4 DLC story where you play as Chloe, who I believe is only in the second game. Maybe she's in the third a little bit too. I can't remember. Nex Machina is a new game from Resogun developer. So Resogun was a cool shmup on the PS4 that I believe was a launch title for it. So they're making a new game as well. Horizon Zero Dawn, it got more stuff shown. Yeah. It still looks cool.
It still looks good.
Wipeout Omega Collection. Wipeout's a cool racing game. Get it on the PS4 instead of just the Vita now. Capcom announced Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, which we talked about last week as being rumored.
Yeah.
As Marvel vs. Capcom 4, but it's real, and it's called MVC Infinite.
They showed off some of the characters that were in it.
They showed off Iron Man, Captain Marvel, which is a cool addition, I think.
That is a cool addition, yeah.
X, which is also great because the last game, everyone was like, why did you put in 0 and not X for Mega Man? Why is Mega Man's representative not Mega Man? So now Mega Man is there. Mega Man X is there. And Ryu, obviously. Duh. And then they showed off Captain America as well as Morrigan, I believe. In a second trailer they put out. Also, this game is only going to be 2v2 as opposed to MVC 2 and 3, which are 3 versus 3. They removed assist moves, I guess, in favor of the new Infinity Stone system.
Oh.
And we talked about when the rumors were swirling that this game, if it was made, the rumor was that Marvel wants it to be much more connected to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So adding the Infinity Stones as a gameplay element makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and the Captain Marvel movie is in the works right now, so...
Yeah. I was happy to see that at least they didn't opt for a more realistic art style to emulate that, and kept the comic book characters looking comic booky.
Yes.
I would have been really bummed if we'd gotten, movie Captain America, and not more comic book style Captain America. It would have been weird and out of place. Yeah. But that's cool.
I hope I hope Dormammu has an alternative costume where he looks like movie Dormammu and he's just fills the screen.
What if Dormammu's not in it?
See, that wouldn't make sense because he was just in a movie.
Yeah.
So,
Doctor Strange will absolutely be in it.
They have extra incentive to put him in the game.
That's very true. They also showed off a probably boss character from the game in the trailer as a tease at the end that most people are saying appears to be a combination of Ultron and Sigma, the villain of the Mega Man X games.
Oh!
Which would actually make a lot of sense.
I did not catch that, but that sounds pretty cool.
I like the idea of that. There's a new trailer for Neo. That game still looks good. They showed off some Gravity Rush 2. Parappa the Rapper, Patapon, and Loco Roco are being remastered for PS4.
Good.
That's great. Those are just 3 great games that go great together. Knack 2, the game no one asked for,
It's
except for our friend Matt.
He loved it. I have no idea, but he definitely did.
Knack seems so much like a Mac game.
Yeah. No, but the first Knack came out, and the response was lukewarm at best. So for some reason, they took that as a signal to make another one.
I think the guy who made Knack is a pretty high up dude at Sony, so he probably has the push to be like, "Let's make Knack 2." And they just yes, of course, sir. Mm-hmm. I'll make it.
Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy
is remaking. So we're getting remakes of Crash Bandicoot,
which actually look a little horrifying. I don't know if you've watched the footage.
Crash Bandicoot has a weird situation with its art, where the graphical limits of the PS1 era were all that stopped it from being really frickin' weird looking.
Yeah.
It was acceptable in appearance on the PS1, but then you see updated graphics versions of Crash and you're like, oh, I don't like that at all.
It looks very strange. Why is his mouth that big? Why does he have no neck?
He's just a big triangle mouth. That's all he is.
There was
with shoes and shorts.
There was a fun little side story that I saw that one of the original creators of Crash Bandicoot was mad about the remasters, and one of the things he said was "Oh, they should have just had us make another Crash Bandicoot game. Should have called me up and had me make another game. I would have done that."
Yeah,
and I'm like, dude, that would have cost them so much more money than to just remaster stuff. It. Why are you getting all butthurt about that?
Because it's his game, man. I get that, but it's not how this business works, unfortunately.
No, not at all.
Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is getting another demo, or got a demo update and a new trailer. The demo update apparently added a bunch of stuff, including an enemy and a gun.
Oh yeah, you can finally shoot things, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently the enemy in it is cool and very hard to kill.
Nice.
And there's some cool little achievements for it. Suda51's new game, Let It Die, a free-to-play game on the PS4, is now available. It was made available during the show. I don't know much about this game, except it's a dungeon crawler that's sort of Dark Souls-y, but quirky weirdo, like Suda51. Mm-hmm. And that there's a death character in it who you hang out with, who has a fantastic design. He's a skeleton man in a robe with a scythe and weird swirly sunglasses, and he skateboards.
Look at that guy.
What a video game.
Yeah, no, I'm looking at screenshots from this game, and let me tell you, I don't really like how it looks at all.
I gotta pull up a picture of that of Death. Did they not have a picture of Death? Let me just search for Let It Die. He's in the logo and everything. Yeah!
Oh, that is a pretty good design.
Yeah, look at him. He looks great. Destructoid image open.
Nah.
With so many tabs open. It can't do it. But you get the idea. There we go. It's blurry, but there you go.
He's got a skateboard. He's so cool.
Isn't he great? I like that design a lot, actually.
That is actually a really fun design.
It's super cool.
That's what Death should look like when he shows up in Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah! Mm-hmm. Totally.
Yep.
Man, someone should make a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater game.
Yeah.
Oh, they did though.
Yeah, that was
some new party game. Destiny's getting a new event for its festive season.
Of course, yeah, makes sense.
Nier Automata got delayed to March. Excuse me. I believe it got delayed to March. It has a new trailer, which I actually haven't watched yet. Yeah, March 7th. And there's going to be a demo available soon, I believe. MLB's getting some stuff. Ni no Kuni 2 is apparently being made, called Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant, which is the game with art by Studio Ghibli.
Oh, nice.
That RPG that came out a while ago. New Danganronpa thing. Dino Frontier. Windjammers on PS4 and Vita. A remake of the Yakuza Kiwami, which is a remake of the original Yakuza for PS2, is coming out.
Just keep remaking the same games.
That weird indie game by ex-Last Guardian developers, Vane, is officially coming to the PS4. And yeah, some other stuff.
Oh, Dreadnought is coming to PS4 in 2017.
Dreadnought's a funny game because it's really hard to find a good trailer for it because all the trailers are just ship shooting lasers at each other. But the game seems cool though. It's like a strategic action game.
So it seems like the crux of this was, hey, look what we're remaking.
Yeah, lots of remakes.
Remakes and remasters.
A few trailers for new things.
Because even the Uncharted 4 thing is DLC. It's not a new game.
A bunch of trailers new trailers for things we already knew about.
Really, like the only big announcements out of this were Last of Us Part 2 and Marvel vs. Capcom new game?
And Knack 2.
Oh, and Knack 2.
How could we forget Knack?
Knack 2, the most important thing announced at
How could anyone forget
PSX.
Knack?
Yeah.
What a game. Marvel vs. Knack 2.
Them all trying to beat up Knack, but they can't do it.
They can't do it because he can rebuild himself.
It's true. He could be this. He confused with Ultron.
Ultron and Sigma.
Yeah.
To become Ultimate Knack. And then everyone will buy his game.
No. No one will buy that.
So speaking of PlayStation and speaking of Last Guardian developers, The Last Guardian came out.
I don't believe it.
This week.
Didn't happen.
Or did you know?
I told you it was going to be delayed.
So I'm going to open by saying I haven't played it yet. I have my copy.
Oh, you have your copy?
I do. It's over on my shelf. Right next to Mad Max Fury Road Black and Chrome Edition.
Oh my god.
We're going to have to watch that at some point.
Yeah, we're going to have to watch that.
I'm going to get that Black and White Fury Road.
Oof.
I'm excited. I haven't cracked it open yet. But
no, I've watched a lot of gameplay of this. I've read a lot of reviews of it.
I've been avoiding stuff, but I have read a few reviews. Mm-hmm. It's getting very mixed reviews.
Yes.
As of right now. A lot of 9s and 10s from people who are like, I love Ico, I love Shadow of the Colossus, I love this game because it's more what I like.
I mean, those seem particularly biased, but sure. Yeah.
But bias, I mean, if you yourself are a person who loved those other two games, then perhaps those reviews are helpful.
Yeah.
In the sense of, like, if you're a fan of those games and the jank that does come with them, then you'll probably like Last Guardian just fine. Whereas the detractors, the lower review scores, I haven't seen anything lower than a 6.
Yeah,
from like a real.
Neither have I really.
Yeah, but it's been getting some 6s, mostly complaining that it feels stuck in the PS2 era.
Yes.
In the way it plays and handles. Also, just complaints about the AI of the creature not being very responsive.
Lots of that, yeah.
And some technical issues, frame rate problems, pretty frequent frame rate problems, from what I understand. Among a few other little things. I've completely avoided anything about like the real gameplay or story, so that I can't comment on.
What I've heard and what I've seen is just the sort of weirdness of the AI and also some of the other mechanics look horrendously frustrating. Like you will be making these life or death jumps, and your character will sort of like go past a point that they're supposed to grab, but they just don't grab it because the game didn't feel like doing that time. So then you die and have to reload.
I'm curious to play this and see how I feel about it.
Yeah, here. And the bird dog, the giant bird dog, is
he doesn't listen.
He doesn't listen. He's like a real pet in that way.
I feel like... So I've read a lot of reviews saying like, oh my god, it took this bird dog, I spent 10 minutes just trying to get him to do one thing. And I'm going to make a wild conjecture here and say that a lot of the reviews that are complaining about this are probably vastly exaggerating it. And it's like, it probably took you like a minute. Because when people get frustrated, they just exaggerate stuff like that. And you see it in game reviews all the time. So I'm withholding judgment on that stuff, too. I'm not surprised that this game feels stuck in the PS2 era a bit, given its development cycle.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I'm looking at this game, and I almost wish that it just hadn't come out.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, yeah, you waited too long, guys. It's too late for this kind of game.
I think is funny is a bunch of people saying, like, oh, the character controls so clunky. He's so clunky and he feels so heavy. Like, the characters got so much weight to them. And I'm like, yeah. Did you play Ico and Shadow of the Colossus?
Yeah.
The characters are like that in that, too. It's just how they do it. The characters move like actual human beings. But that's weird for people playing a video game, I guess. But it's bizarre when those other two games are so praised to see that as now a complaint in this title.
Yeah.
Where it's like... I get that nowadays you might be expecting something different, but But I think the real problem you're having is that this game just doesn't do things the same way other games do. In other games, your character doesn't have an animation for turning around. You just turn around. You move a joystick and your guy is facing the other direction in the majority of games. But in this, your character actually has an animation. They turn their body around like a human being has to do in a real world. And I don't think that that's a problem.
No,
so some issues with like character control in this game, I feel like, are people just not going with the flow and wanting to control it like another game, which you can't do.
Yeah.
Also, apparently, if you want a stable frame rate, you can run it on a PS4 Pro to get that, which is what this article I have here is about.
Apparently, when you try and run this on a regular PS4, there are some pretty bad frame rate problems.
Heavy frame rate issues. It doesn't feel particularly smooth, apparently. I find this unfortunate. On the one hand, this is interesting news because this kind of explains to some degree why the game took so long to come out. And that's because optimizing this game must have been hell. Because clearly rendering the content in the game, like rendering all this game's assets and animations and the way it all works, is a huge strain on the system. So no wonder they didn't put it out on PS3.
Yeah. Because
if the PS4 is chugging on this, the PS3 could not have run this game.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Wait a minute, the PS3 is a supercomputer, Dan.
When you have 80 of them... Do we need 80 PS3s to play Last Guardian?
Seems fair.
I mean, I bet it would work.
Yeah.
It would probably run great. Solid 60s.
Solid 60s.
But that's... it's unfortunate news, nonetheless. And it's also kind of unfortunate for Sony, who said so frequently, like, the PS4 Pro is not a replacement for the PS4. You won't see significant... Like, you won't see, like, super significant game-changing running differences in how a game runs on the PS4 Pro. And then this kind of is like, well, so much for that.
So much for...
Like, this game objectively runs way better on the Pro.
Now, this is, probably a different case, an outlier case, because as you were saying, the way the dev cycle was. But it doesn't help that this is, like, their big anticipated title.
Yeah. I also haven't checked sales numbers on this game. Because everyone was saying, oh, we're so excited for Last Guardian, can't wait till Last Guardian comes out. But it's still a niche game.
Yeah, I mean, Shadow of the Colossus and Ico, like,
Ico didn't sell well.
No, Ico didn't sell well at all. And there's a reason why Last Guardian took this long to come out, because it had trouble getting funding because they didn't think it would sell.
These games are not mass appeal games, but I feel like Last Guardian's been shot in the foot because it's been marketed as a mass appeal game.
Yep.
So tons of people are probably going to buy this game not really getting it, and they're going to hate it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not their kind of thing. And there's something to be said for making games that can appeal to everyone, but there's also something to be said for making games that appeal to a specific niche. Because you can really show, like, a focus of art and content that you don't get if you're making a game that anyone can jump into.
Yeah.
So, it's strange, and I'm wondering what Sony's reaction to this is going to be, because I don't know how do you think Sony theorizes this is going to sell?
Oh my god, you know what Sony's going to do is this might not sell well and people will get mad about it on the internet, and then Sony will be like, hey, maybe they shouldn't have promised so much stuff.
Shuei Yoshida will come out and be like, oh man, those guys really, Fumito Ueda really promised a lot with this title. No base building? Like, what's that?
Just throw them right under the bus.
Throw them right under that bus. In Japan, it's called a basu. I'll give my impressions of this once I actually get a chance to play it. It is a to-be-played with the wife game. So,
I see.
It may be it, because she's a big fan of those games, too.
Mm.
So,
Plus it's got that cute bird dog.
When I get there, I'll talk about it. Final bets. Who dies? Who dies in this game?
The bird dog dies.
The bird dog dies?
I
think the kid's gonna die. I think they're gonna go for the swerve.
Oh my god. Maybe they both die.
Nah. No one's there to be miserable.
No one's there to be miserable.
So anyway, Nintendo Switch is gonna play GameCube games.
Oh my god.
This is from Eurogamer. So I trust them. So apparently Nintendo Switch via Virtual Console is going to have GameCube games. It's already tested and working. And 3 games have already been prepped for the Switch. Those being Super Mario Sunshine, awesome. Luigi's Mansion, terrific. And Super Smash Bros. Melee, fucking amazing.
Yeah.
That's great.
So no, I am a filthy plebeian.
Yes.
And I did not realize, did the Virtual Console not include any GameCube games up to this point?
It went up to N64.
Huh.
Yeah.
Can you get original Super Smash on that?
I believe so, yes.
Good. The only good Super
and
Smash game.
And then it runs well, because you're not running it on an N64.
Exactly.
You have frame rate issues all the time.
All you need to do is get some N64 third-party controllers to plug into your Wii U.
You can buy those things on eBay for like $5.
I know,
People
right?
People just make them. I bought 2 like a little while ago.
And then you're all set.
So yeah, that's very cool to see that it's getting updated with that. Animal Crossing, the GameCube version's apparently being tested. As well as, just other older titles. So that's really cool news for the Switch, on top of everything else, basically. It's a more powerful version of, more powerful hardware than the Wii U objectively, which is also good to know, that it is actually significantly more powerful, so its ability to emulate these GameCube games is apparently perfectly adequate, it seems.
It's funny. I was talking to somebody about the Switch, and I think I had read this, but I don't know if I talked about it on the podcast when we talked about the original hardware rumors for the Switch. But it's the way Nintendo makes money that I was just like, oh my god, that's brilliant. Why doesn't anyone else do this? And the idea is that the PS4 and the Xbone, they come out and they have really cutting edge tech for when they come out.
Yes. And
then they're really expensive, but they're actually still sold at a loss because that hardware is so expensive to mass produce.
Well, that became a big thing with the PS4.
Yeah.
Or no, it was the PS3 more so.
Oh, you're right.
Because they built the PS3 with PS2 backwards compatibility, and then that became not cost effective. Mm-hmm. And they had to stop basically after the first 2 production runs. Mm-hmm.
But so then the idea is that they're actually losing money on each console they sell, even though they're horrendously expensive.
Yes.
And then their plan is to sell tons and tons of consoles to make up that money in the long run.
Right.
So then if a console doesn't sell well, it's a big deal for either of those two companies. Whereas what Nintendo does is they put out a console that costs less and has much lower quality hardware in it. Not in the sense that it doesn't work as well, but just that it's not as powerful.
Right.
And then they sell each console at a small profit, and then it doesn't matter if they don't actually sell that many.
The Wii U is a perfect example. If the Wii U had failed the way it did for Sony or Microsoft, it would have been a disaster.
Yeah, they would have been done.
They would have been freaking gone.
Well, that's effectively what happened with Sega, right?
Yeah.
Because Sega tried to do the cutting-edge hardware type deal.
With the Dreamcast?
Yeah, with the Dreamcast, and then that didn't work out for them, and then they had to stop making consoles.
Yup.
So in this way, I'm
Bafflingly, they haven't realized that they should stop making Sonic games.
Somehow, they haven't gotten that memo. No, it's crazy to me that, this model has worked for Nintendo for the past, decade and a half.
Yeah.
And yet the other two game console makers are like, nah, we shouldn't do that. That sounds dumb.
But they have the gaming audience at large in their pockets, for now at least, so I kind of get why they keep doing it. Because they got us right where they want us right now.
But then they have to constantly be fighting each other for supremacy of the market, whereas Nintendo can just do their own thing. Yeah.
So, on Jimmy Fallon...
Speaking of Nintendo,
the Reginator...
Oh my god!
And Mr. Shigeru Miyamoto himself were on Jimmy Fallon's Jimmy Fallon Show, starring Jimmy Fallon.
Wait, is it Late Night with Jimmy Fallon? Is that the actual name of the show? I don't know. I don't watch it.
The Tonight Show, starring Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, it's The Tonight Show.
Featuring Jimmy Fallon, with guest appearance by Jimmy Fallon.
Producer Jimmy Fallon.
Producer Jimmy Fallon. So you can watch this video. I'm not going to play it, because Jimmy Fallon will put a copyright strike on it.
You definitely will.
He'll do it himself. He'll send us a letter. Like, hi, this is Jimmy Fallon of Jimmy Fallon on Tonight Show. I'm here to give you a Jimmy Fallon. A cease and desist. Sincerely, Jimmy Fallon. P.S. I am Jimmy Fallon. So, Jimmy Fallon was on his own show with Reggie and Shigeru Miyamoto. And they looked at two things. They looked at the new Super Mario game, which I'll actually pull up, Super Mario Run. It's an iOS Mario game that I actually think looks really cool. The gist of it is that there's Mario levels, and Mario just runs through them, and you tap the screen to make him jump.
Uh-huh.
And it's basically just get Mario through the level by making him jump.
Okay.
And that's cool. It's more than I expected from their Mario phone game. Because it looks nice, too. Like, it looks like a modern Mario game. It doesn't look like some crappy crap, and it actually plays like a Mario title instead of just being some weird spin-off.
I mean, it's shovelware, but it's dressed up like a real game. That's the impression I got from it. Because you're just tapping a screen to make them jump. But then what do you have to say about all
these other phone games?
They're all garbage.
Okay, so then if that's your opinion, I get where you're coming from.
There are phone games that are real games. Lest we forget, Baldur's Gate 1 was ported to iOS. That's a real game.
Wait, what?
Yeah. Also, XCOM, the first XCOM game, you can play that game, it's entirely on iOS.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But this is a mobile game. Like Pokemon Go.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, Pokemon...
most mobile games are barely games.
I know. And this is also barely a game. But you can have real games on mobile.
It's more of a game than Flappy Bird.
That's true. Well, debatably true.
I think it's more of a game than Flappy
Bird. But
it
looks good.
I think it's neat.
Yeah.
I think it's perfectly cool for, like, a mobile Mario game.
It was funny, actually.
I'm not going to play it. No. I don't have a problem with it.
I was at work. Yeah. And my, 50 or 60-year-old head of my department came in. Mm-hmm. And she was like, I was watching Jimmy Fallon last night, and apparently Mario is a phone game now.
Yes.
What's the deal with that? And then she left. And I was thinking, like, that was the announcement from Jimmy Fallon? Because the thing I remember from Jimmy Fallon is the other thing that happened on the show.
Yeah.
Which was the Switch.
The catch in this article on Destructoid, though...
Oh, the thing about the Super Mario game.
Yeah, is that Super Mario Run has to be online constantly.
All the time.
But they haven't said anything about microtransactions.
So here's the problem. Usually games are online always because of DRM stuff.
Yes.
That strikes me as weird on an iOS game, because who's pirating iOS games? I mean, you can, but it's a huge pain in the butt. Yeah. It's really not worth it. You have to, like, jailbreak your device.
Miyamoto says this is for security purposes.
See, again, like, people don't do that with iOS games,
the software to be secure, you gotta play it in a stable environment. We should also stress this is only coming to iOS for now.
Yeah.
But they have said it'll come to iOS first, so we'll probably come out on Android
for
at some
Android,
point.
yeah.
I bet Apple just gave them a ton of money to have temporary exclusivity.
That makes sense.
On it.
Apple would totally do that.
Yeah. Of course they would. Of course they would.
Of course.
Apparently they have demo kiosks for this set up in Apple stores, too, starting on, like, the 15th. So if you want to, like, make yourself miserable, you can go to an Apple store.
That's that makes me think of cross-promotion, which is something we should talk about. We have a story about that later.
Yes, it's right after this one.
It's right after this one.
So let's talk about the Switch on Jimmy Fallon.
So the Switch was on Jimmy Fallon.
Yes.
This was the big thing that was on Jimmy Fallon. And Reggie came up there and he was like...
Jimmy Fallon was very excited.
Well, Jimmy Fallon actually seems like he genuinely knows what the Switch is.
Yes, which I liked. Because he was his normal, like, oh my god, I'm Jimmy Fallon. Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Can I impersonate Bob Dylan for you real quick? Hold on.
Oh, hey, I'm Jimmy Fallon. And now he's on a show where he should be laughing and looking at the camera all the time.
This is true.
He does great. But that I appreciated, because when they unveiled it, he already knew a bunch of the features without them having to tell him. He knew games that were going to be on it.
Yeah.
He knew Zelda. He knew kind of how to play it already, because he had clearly watched, like... the demo videos.
Yeah, and the way he's talking, it seems like he's played other Zelda games.
Yes. Well, he knew things he could do in the game, like the shield surfing and everything. He said, oh, how do I do that? Like, I know I can, but how do I do it? And Reggie showed him.
And what's also funny about the way Reggie handled this interview was it didn't seem like Reggie expected him to know anything. So he kept knowing stuff, and Reggie was like, oh, I guess we'll just move past that then. Yeah, I guess I don't have to explain that, sure.
Which was great.
It was kind of funny.
And you have to expect, like, if Reggie's going on Reggie knows how video games work because he works for a video game company. But if he's going on a talk show or something like this, you have to expect that the vast majority of the time these people have never touched a real video game in their goddamn lives.
Yeah.
But it was refreshing because Jimmy Fallon clearly actually plays video games.
The only problem with this segment, and it was the awkward part of the segment, is they start with the Switch on a dock.
Yes.
And you see there's a huge projection screen behind them, and you see what's up on the Switch.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's like, let me show you the feature. And Jimmy Fallon's like, oh my gosh, this is the mobile feature, because he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And then Reggie takes the Switch off of its dock and gives it to Jimmy. And then Jimmy plays it after he's been given the thing.
Yeah, he's playing Zelda just on the handheld version.
But because it's no longer on the dock, nothing's projected on the big screen behind them. So there had to be an over-the-shoulder camera of Fallon.
Kind of at an angle.
And there was like weird reflection on the screen because of all the studio lights.
Yes.
So you kind of couldn't see what he was doing.
Yeah.
And it was unfortunate because that's when he actually played it.
Right.
But although what I did like is he was talking about it, like Reggie takes it off the dock and gives it to him, and he's like, and this is the whole console. Like Fallon made a point to be like, so this is the whole console. There's no guts in the docking station.
Yeah.
Which is one of the big things that if you're like someone who knows about video games and consoles and you're watching the segment, that's one of the things you want to know.
That's a big deal.
Oh, yeah. I like how he's like, oh, it's got a kickstand. Hold on, it's got to be right here.
Yeah, and he
like,
finds it. Yeah, that was great. And Reggie's like, That was great. Delightful. So it was cool to see it in action. I'm pretty excited about this console, honestly. I think it's really neat.
It has a lot of potential.
It does a lot of potential. I'd say it has far more potential than the Wii U.
Yes. Low bar.
Low bar, but nonetheless.
But
I mean, I think it has more potential than the Wii. Because I think the Wii was hindered by its gimmick.
Yeah, I could see that. Whereas this thing's gimmick just seems to be a boon.
This thing's gimmick is just a good feature. It's not really like gimmicky.
Another thing. There have been rumors this week that it's not a rumor, but there have been demo kits, or what are they called? Some kits, dev kits, that's what they're called, that have been given out to companies that have gone out this week, and it is a rumor out of those companies that they have vastly improved the battery life over the original rumor of the battery life. So the original rumor of the battery life was like 3 hours.
Which, if you're going to do mobile, is bad.
It's bad. Now it's 5 to 8, apparently.
That's
fine. A good improvement.
That's perfectly fine. That's like on par with the Vita.
And Vita means life. So the batteries can never die.
Yeah. Vita handles its battery-ish things like really well. When the Vita's in sleep mode, it uses like nothing. It's amazing.
Nice.
If you go into low battery, if you're at like 1% battery with your Vita, you can put it in sleep mode and just leave it for like a day, and you can still turn it on and it'll work.
Nice.
Without charging. It's incredible. I don't know how they did it. I want the Switch to be like that.
Yeah.
Because that'd be amazing. So this is cool. We'll learn more about the Switch on the 12th of January. That is the date.
Oh, they're doing a Nintendo Direct on it?
They're doing a Switch Direct, so we'll learn more about the system itself, and we'll probably learn what games are actually going to be launch titles, and hopefully an actual release date, given that it's supposed to be, like, March 2017.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, speaking of cross-promotion.
And we're moving from Nintendo news that we thought was great to Nintendo news that makes us sick.
Pokemon Go. But is this even... This is like barely Nintendo news.
I guess.
It's Niantic news.
That makes us sick.
It makes me sick, at least. And it clearly makes you sick, too.
Well, I can't drink caffeine, so it probably would make me physically sick.
So, Pokemon Go is officially a whore.
That's harsh. I thought I was going harsh. That's real bad. Okay, no. So there was a story from December 8th,
extreme, but
where we found out that Pokemon Go.
I bumped my knee.
That Pokemon Go is going to do cross promotion with Starbucks.
Yes,
this is a leak. We don't know this for sure, but it's probably true.
Yes. So what this means is that later this week at Starbucks, based on these leaked images, this will be a thing that, it was supposed to start December 8th. Did it happen?
Did it happen?
Wait, but this was posted on December 8th. This says a December 8th. I think something about these dates is wrong.
Yeah.
Based on the leaked images, A large number of stores will become Pokestops or gyms as part of the event. Players who swing by their nearest Starbucks can pick up a unique item, the Pokemon Go Frappuccino blended beverage.
Ugh.
And they're going to sell an actual version of the drink. It's vanilla bean with raspberries and blackberries and whipped cream.
That sounds delightful.
It actually sounds very good.
Yeah.
Pokemon Go's about to expand with new Pokemon. There's also a leak that says they're going to be adding like the Gen 2 Pokemon potentially. I think people found some like audio files for some of the Gen 2 Pokemon as well. More information is due December 12th. So Niantic continues to do things with Pokemon Go that aren't really making the game much better. They've done some good updates actually, but the Pokemon finding feature is still a mess, and they have not done anything to fix the game for rural players at all.
And now, if you're a rural player, don't worry, you can go to Starbucks. Oh, wait, you live in a rural area.
You're not gentrified enough to have a Starbucks.
Yeah. If they only partnered with Walmart, maybe they could...
Oh, God.
But no, so all Starbucks are going to be Pokestops?
Yes.
I was hearing somebody talk about that, and they were like, hey, that'll be fantastic, because... I think maybe this was SourceFed that was saying this, but they were like, because I love, having to wait in line at Starbucks for my coffee, and now the line will just be twice as big because there'll be a bunch of Pokemon Go players there.
Yeah.
That'll be great.
I did read another rumor as well that there's going to be more like clothing and character customization options coming to the game.
Oh, yeah, because the character customization is like nothing.
So I heard there's going to be more, but what I also heard is that all of those character customization things are going to be sponsored. Which means your new options will be the Starbucks hat and the Walmart hoodie.
The McDonald's jean shorts.
McDonald's jean shorts for your trainer.
I mean, it does say in this article that they've been partnering with McDonald's in Japan.
In Japan, yes.
Which totally makes sense. For some reason, in Japan, that doesn't bother me.
I also wanted to say that in Japan, McDonald's is great.
Yeah.
I've been to McDonald's many times in Japan, and it's, like, good. Their standard burger is a teriyaki pork burger.
Oh my god, that's fantastic.
It's so good.
Sounds really
It's, like,
good.
delicious, too. Like, it's so good.
Wow.
So good on you, Japanese McDonald's. You're great.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work. Ubisoft's having a bad time.
Oh, Ubisoft, I'm so sorry. So, we've been reporting on in the past, and this is kind of an update to it, that Vivendi is slowly trying to gobble up enough Ubisoft stock that they hold a controlling stake in the company.
And the Guillemot brothers are desperately trying to fight this off.
And part of the reason why they're doing that is because they founded the company, and it's been a family-run company ever since its inception. Yeah. So they really don't want to be taken over by a giant conglomerate, but it looks like that's probably what's going to happen. Now, when we talked about this last time, there was all sorts of shareholder meeting drama where they had tried to pass rules to make it so that it would be more difficult for people to buy large chunks of the shares.
Right.
And so that the workers in the company would own a larger stake in it, so there would be less shares to buy.
Right.
And they passed all those, and Vivendi didn't really, even though they were like at the meeting, they didn't like speak up or say anything to stop that. But it turns out that was probably just because in secret Vivendi was just buying shares.
Yeah.
So they have gone from, what were they at, like 21 to 23 or something?
Yeah, something like that. They're getting there.
After they get to 30%, they apparently by French law, because these are all French companies.
Yeah.
After they get to 30%, they are obligated to launch a public offer on the company. So after they hit 30, they're basically going to buy it.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're inching a couple percentage points closer to 30.
We'll see. We'll continue to update you on this story as it unfolds.
There was some random stuff about how sources from inside of Ubisoft were like, no, it's fine. There's nothing wrong. Just don't believe your lying eyes. Nothing bad is happening.
Yeah. About that. China, in an article from VG247, is apparently going to force games with randomized loot boxes to publicly expose their drop rates and probabilities.
So this is super interesting. This is specifically applying to games like Overwatch.
Overwatch, as you see here.
Really just boxes. Blizzard games. So Hearthstone too, I believe.
Because Blizzard, if you haven't played Overwatch, all of your character customization items come from loot boxes, which are earned by leveling up or participating in certain game modes and events and things like that. And you open them up, and you get random items. You're guaranteed at least one blue item. But there's also rarer purple and yellow items to get as well. And then you get some gray items, which are always sprays and dumb stuff like that.
Yeah.
So in the way the whole system works is if you get repeats, you get money, and you can use that to like buy specific things that you do want. So once you've saved up enough money, you're like, oh, I still haven't gotten this character's costume from a random box, but now I can just buy it. So it's a good system. It works really well. And people have always kind of been wondering, like, what is your chance of getting certain items? And some people have crunched the numbers and been like, you're guaranteed a legendary item after X amount of boxes because there's, like, a pity counter of sorts where you keep getting crap. It, like, builds up until eventually you're guaranteed to get something good.
Yeah.
But now, Chinese regulation, the Chinese government passed new regulation that says that games like this, because of, like, gambling reasons, have to make public the drop rates and the chances of getting things.
This is funny because I actually thought the drop rates were like already public. I didn't realize that it was all those basement Columbos trying to figure it out.
Oh yeah.
But I also like never looked that deep into it. I mean, I play Hearthstone a fair amount. But I get enough good cards that I just don't think like, this is a rigged system. I should try and figure out what's wrong with it.
The only time I looked into it for Overwatch was during the Halloween event. Because I was like, what even is like the probability of getting these Halloween skins? But I do know during events with Overwatch, your rate of legendaries is actually boosted.
Oh.
You have a higher chance of getting more. Or at least it seems that way.
Well, good.
According to most people. The interesting thing this has, though, is if information is revealed to China, there's no way that public information is not going to disseminate itself into the rest of the world.
But here's another thing. And I was reading about this, maybe from another source. I don't think it was in this article, but it was mentioned that Japan already has this law.
Oh.
So one of the things companies do is they just change the way their drop percentages work
in those
between
regions.
Countries.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, this is what it is in Japan. Here, Japanese people, this is what it is. But then everywhere else, they're like, well, it might not be the same.
Yeah. And that's probably what they'll do here.
Yeah.
All things considered. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
But I kind of like that, I think it's funny that the Chinese government is like, this is what they want to spend their time on.
Yeah, sure, why not?
Like, it's not really that important. You could be working on other stuff.
But bro, how often am I guaranteed an Overwatch Legendary?
The public needs to know.
I need to know. I need my schmeckles. I want schmeckles for Christmas. South Korea has also passed a bill.
Okay, this is way more serious than the last game
regarding
law we talked about.
Video games. This one is a bill to punish hack makers. So people who make hacks for games. South Korea having its burgeoning, I guess not burgeoning, its robust esports community.
Oh, yeah.
Hackers are probably frowned upon quite harshly, as this bill reflects. So the South Korean parliament passed an amendment to a law on promoting the gaming industry, so that now manufacturing and distributing programs not allowed by the game company and its TOS is directly illegal. That would include aimbots, hacking programs, scripters, anything like that. The punishment is up to 5 years of jail time or $43,000 in fines, which is apparently 50 million Korean won.
Wow.
I think won is their currency.
Wow. That's so much.
50 million wongs! So game companies won't have to rely on indirect laws anymore in order to go after these people, which should make life immensely easier for Riot Korea and Blizzard Korea.
Okay, so this article is from a site called PvP Live, which I don't know too much about the site. The reason why I wanted to link it is because from what I heard, this is where the news broke. Yeah. And other sites have been like, yeah, no, this is true. They're credible. So the weird thing about this, though, and the way it was sort of advertised by them, though it's the slant to the article that makes me a little weirded out, is the article is like, hey, good news for all you gamers out there. Now there's going to be a law to enforce this.
And all these hacks come from South Korea.
Yeah,
so it'll help everybody.
Everyone should be so happy. Aren't you happy about this? And I'm just thinking, I don't actually know if I am happy about this. Not because hackers are good, because they're not. And I understand, like, in the past, the way it worked is someone would hack, and then Blizzard would ban that account. And apparently, in South Korea, what they would do is they would have an internet cafe, and people would have VPN stuff set up.
Yep.
So they would make an account under a false address, VPN type thing. And then as soon as they were caught cheating and banned, they would just
buy a new account.
Yeah, buy a new account, like reset up the VPN thing so it says they're coming from a different place.
Yeah.
And then just start playing again with the hacked stuff. So I understand that that's super frustrating for Blizzard because they don't really have a way to combat that until now.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if you make an aimbot, I don't think you should get 5 years in jail for that. I think that is an extremely harsh sentence for doing something that's not actually harsh. That big a deal.
No.
Like, it ruins the fun of other people.
Could the argument be made that it's that maximum sentence exists as a method of putting the fear of God into people?
A deterrent, yeah. No, I could see that.
Because it's like, well, I could get 5 years in jail. Do I really need to make a cheat program for a video game?
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't.
See, I would rather that they do it the way that...
Granted, I don't know how much money these people make off this stuff.
See, that's the other thing, right? That I don't like either of the listed penalties here. Because 5 years seems like way too much, but $43,000, as we've reported on with other hackers and how they make money, like through online gambling or that FIFA story we did.
Yeah.
If you're... And a lot of people will make these aimbots and stuff and then charge people to use them.
Yes.
So if you're doing that and you're charging, you can make a lot more than $43,000.
Yes.
So in that way, the $43,000 fine sounds way too low and not
compared
good
to
either.
A maximum of 5 years in jail.
Yeah. So
how nice is Korean jail?
It's probably really nice. Maybe not like Swedish jail.
So that might not be that bad.
But no, I feel like the better way to go about this would be to get rid of the jail time or make it like 1 year maximum. Yeah. I would actually get rid of it altogether because I think jail time for this is silly.
Just boost the fine.
Yeah, boost the fine like through the roof.
Make it like 1 billion Korean won.
Whoa. That's like $5. Yeah, I think to cost these people a ton of money would be a better way to go.
Definitely. Because if there's one thing we learned about people who make and use hacks is that they don't care. They don't care about not doing that.
Yeah.
Or I guess I should say they do care. All they care about is doing that. I don't know. I don't get it.
So no, I thought that was super interesting.
It's pretty extreme. I wonder if it'll stick around.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting to hear like it getting put into effect. Like when is this going to start coming down on people?
Yeah.
And how's that going to happen? But we'll find out. Doom got an update on the 7th that added bots to multiplayer.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So many multiplayer shooters don't have bots nowadays, and it's terrible.
This Destructoid article that talks about it is like, oh, you guys remember Time Splitters? It's going to be like Time Splitters. And it's funny because as soon as they said bots...
In Perfect Dark.
Yeah, as soon as they said bots in Doom, the first thing I thought of was Time Splitters.
Yep. And that's great, because it means you can play multiplayer with just... Like, you don't have to have a big group of people. You and your buddy can just play it with a ton of bots.
It's great. There's also, like, apparently some more modes.
And upgrades to the map builder. And
which is great. There's a new mode that's, like, looks like a capture the flag style mode, except instead of a flag, it's like a demon eyeball thing.
Yeah.
It looks kind of like a baby beholder. It's adorable.
So it's nice to see, since they said after the game released that they would be really overhauling the multiplayer features, it's nice to see them doing that.
Yeah.
Because they've done a great job so far. Skullgirls developer teams up with anime studio Trigger for Indivisible. That's a hell of a title there. Basically, Lab Zero Games, who made Skullgirls, the indie fighting game, very well received indie fighting game, did an Indiegogo campaign for an action RPG called Indivisible. It was up, I think, at the beginning of this year, and they managed to get funding, so it's being made. And they just now announced that Studio Trigger, known for anime like Kill la Kill and Little Witch Academia, are going to make an animated opening sequence for their role-playing game. I think that that's really cool. They're going to work with Los Angeles-based studio Titmouse for storyboarding and the animation, while Trigger will execute the final product. It's expected to begin early next year. The director is going to be Yo-Yo Shinari, who's one of my favorite guys. He is the creator and director of Little Witch Academia. He was a primary animator and storyboarder for Gurren Lagann, as well as doing all of the mecha designs for Gurren Lagann.
Nice.
He's a talented individual. And he worked a lot on Neon Genesis Evangelion as well. So he's directing this animation. That's great. And it'll probably be short. It's probably going to be like 3 minutes tops. But I bet it'll be really cool. And I'm excited to see more of this game, actually, because they put out a very early demo of it with their Indiegogo campaign, and it seemed really, really interesting. So it's something I'll definitely be following up on. Games that just came out.
Oh my gosh, Yakuza 6.
Yakuza 6! Just in time for Yakuza Kiwami, the remake of the first Yakuza to come out. So yeah, we had all that stuff.
Today...
Dead Rising 4.
Oh yeah, Dead Rising 4.
And Last Guardian, obviously. What came out today?
Starly Girls?
Of course it did, on iOS and Droid.
Yeah.
Kadokawa Corporation. I don't know what that game is.
No. Bastion is coming to the Expo.
That's cool.
Yeah, I kind of already thought it was on there, but whatever. On the 13th, Batman Telltale Game, Episode 5.
It's the last episode of that. I have no idea how it's been received since the first episode.
The thrilling conclusion.
Stardew Valley on PS4.
Nice.
That day as well. On the 14th, Guilty Gear Exard Revelator.
Ugh. That's a bad name, but probably a good game.
No fighting game title will ever beat Under Night in Birth EXE Late.
True. Space Hulk Deathwing.
That's gotta be Warhammer 40k.
It is Warhammer
right?
40k.
That's not even any information here. And Stardew Valley on the Xbone. One day after it's on the PS4.
Oh.
That's weird.
What's Akiba's Beat? Do we know?
Is it a sequel to Akiba's Strip? Yes, it is.
Oh, okay.
So it's it'll be a dumb action anime game.
Good.
Super Mario Run comes out on the 15th. And that's that.
That's that.
Oh my god, Shantae Half Genie Hero is actually coming out?
Yes?
I'm gonna have to play that.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was actually releasing this year. The game got delayed so many times. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for tuning in.
Oh man, I did do a really bad accent impersonation. Forgot about that.
You did.
Oh, Christmas Carol jokes.
Boy in the street. So, we don't have anything else to say.
No, I think that's the whole
pretty
show.
much the whole show. Check us out on social media. Twitter, iTunes, Steam, Facebook.
DCTF Podcast is usually how you're going to find us.
Or just don't copy that floppy.
Please
leave us an iTunes review if
that
you'd
would
like.
be,
Or check out our Patreon.
That would be fantastic.
Give us a donation.
Do either of those things.
Yes, and tune into our streams. They're delightful.
We're doing game streams Mondays and Wednesdays.
We're probably going to we did part 1 of Wonderful 101 last Saturday? Or the Saturday before that?
Maybe, I don't know. But that is...
we did it.
You can watch that entire stream on
Saturday
Twitch.
before last is what it was.
On Twitch while it lasts.
Yes.
However...
It will be put up in chunks.
The first chunk of which should be going up tomorrow. The 10th.
Oh, okay, awesome.
Because my computer works now. So.
Yeah. Played through Operations 1 through 3 of Wonderful 101. Next weekend, on the 17th, we will likely be streaming the second part, which will be Operations 4 through 6.
Yes.
The second of 3 parts. So that's something else to look forward to. And as always, Lex is streaming Mondays and I am streaming Wednesdays.
Yeah.
As is our normal tradition now. So yeah, thank you all for listening. And until next time, remember,
Don't copy that floppy.